Hi, this is Greg Ethenoz. We're here in the Channel Island Harbor in Oxnard. We're building a deck over Seawall. People here are allowed to overhang 6 foot past the seawall. We're building a deck right now and we're waiting for our inspector for framing inspection. So we're going to take you around and show you the kind of hardware and techniques that we're using on this deck. What we're doing over here, we're using the Simpson bracket DTT2Z. It's the same as a DTT, but it has Z for ZMAX coating. See the ZMAX? This is the coating that is necessary when you're dealing with pressure treated lumber. So those brackets are kind of hold down. They're acting the same as a hold down for regular construction. They're basically preventing the post from pulling out. The top bolt, which is a 1/2 inch bolt, and then again all the bolts are hot dipped. All the hardware is ZMAX coated and the bolts are hot dipped. Basically this bracket is holding this post, and you can tell there's a flat washer on the outside. Over here you have your bolt and your washer. So this is basically transferring the force into the joist. Over here at our ledger, we're having a 2x12 ledger, and we're using 5/8 by 6 Simpson Titan bolts. Those are basically lag bolts for concrete. They work really good. And we're using square washers. Our spacing is same as our joist, 16 inches on center, and we're staggered them up and down. We have our joist hanger. So this is your typical ledger installation over here. But around the corner, we're dealing with something not so typical. What we're doing over here is we installed the hanger upside down. And the reason for that is because our span is shorter than our overhang. We have a 6 foot overhang and 5 foot span. This is why technically there should be more weight on the overhang portion. That's why we reverse the joist hanger. Over here we have our plate, our bearing plate that sits on top of the seawall. And we have one A35 clip in each bay. Now this plate right here is a 4x8, but it all depends on the layout of the deck and your finish height that you want. But in all cases, the plates cannot have any mechanical attachment to the seawall. This is basically just sitting on top of the seawall and bolted to the house. So this is a city requirement because the seawall sometimes have been known to move a little bit. So they do not want the deck to separate from the house. This is why we're not allowed to mechanically attach to the seawall to give it the free movement. Now over here in this bay, we're gonna have a gate. This is the access to the dock ramp. This is gonna be a glass gate, and it will be pretty heavy. Even though we're using 1/4 inch thick glass, it will be very heavy, and will always tend to pull that post and make the gate sag. So what we've done over here is a special system I've come up with. Is actually we're using a heavy-duty hold down to tie the top of this post. You see, heavy-duty square washer to hold the top of this post. Basically pull it this way constantly. And if you look right here underneath, what we have is an old thread that is going through a nut that has been welded on a square washer, and the square washer is held in place with an SDS screw, so it can never spin. And if you follow that old thread all the way out, it extends all the way past that plate and to the outside of the deck, where it would always be accessible with a wrench. Even when the deck is done, all you have to do is grab a wrench and crank on that bolt, so that the post will be re-straightened out.
Hey guys, final day over here. I just got my final inspection signed off. I'm going to show you the deck, what it looks as a finished project, and tell you about the materials that we used. So the decking that we use over here is TREX Transand in Tiki Torch. That's their latest color. Here's Memphis hanging out on the deck. Hi Memphis. So you can tell it's a very nice color. It has some darker streaks in it, and it looks really good with the rope swing color that the railing is in. The railing is TREX Transand in rope swing, which is their very light tan brown, and this one is done with the double universal top and bottom rail with the board cap as opposed to a shaped cap. So you actually have 5.5 inches of width on the cap, and it looks real clean if you don't want the traditional look of the post cap. The video is kind of shaky. I'm doing that on my iPhone. I hope it comes out pretty good. Anyway, this is the door right here, which I made out of 2x2s, out of the 2x2 balusters. What I had to do is fill them with a wood insert and then route them to accept the glass, and then mount it on the 2x2s. And with a glass gate like that, it's really important to make sure that the post will not sag. So again, we have the system right here with the bolt. That bolt right there, if you crank on it on the earliest part of this video, you'll understand that you can always get this post to go this way so that it will never get any tighter over here. So let me show you what it looks from the dock. We've installed some low voltage LED spotlight right here. Those are really good. Only 10 watts, put out a lot of lights. As much as a 50 watt halogen actually. So here's the face of it. Came out very nice. Underside is all pressure treated. And that's it. Hope you like the deck. Post your comments or subscribe to the channel to get more insight about building decks. And I will see you next time.